put it on top of the polenta, make sure I get all my favorite vegetables. Hi everyone, it's me, Dan Pelosi. I'm so happy, one, to be back here with you at Home With Us. Thank you, Food 52, for having me. And two, to be surrounded by all of this beautiful bounty. We are heading towards the end of summer, and that means that everyone's gardens, or farmers markets in my case, are absolutely popping off. And that means I get to hang out with all of this stuff. And I'm gonna teach you one of my favorite recipes, which is inspired by my grandfather, Bimpy, who you'll get to know in a minute. He would make a recipe called Giambotta, which is an Italian vegetable stew. The spirit of the stew is really to embrace everything that comes your way and out of your garden as the end of season approaches. Now, we are going to be using all of this today, and I'm so excited to show you this special family recipe. Tell everybody your name. Introduce yourself.
Danny's grandfather,
What's your name?
Felix Pelosi.
What's everybody call you?
Bippy.
Yeah! What's your hat say? Bimpy.
Bippy. My
Woo.
grandson bought me that hat.
What recipe are we talking about today?
Giambotta.
Woo! So I want to take a minute while I have this beautiful display in front of me to walk you through some of my favorite things that we're going to use in the recipe today, and also just some variations that you can play with as you make this over and over and over throughout the summer, which is what my family does. So I have zucchini squash, I have yellow, I have green, I've got the littlest, tiniest, cutest eggplant to the largest eggplant I've seen bigger. We've got some tomatoes, we've got potatoes, I've got some bell peppers here, and then I have some smaller peppers. You can use sweet peppers, you can use hot peppers. I've got string beans. I have mushrooms, which are really good in here. Then we have our herbs. I've got lots and lots of fresh basil. And then I have some fresh parsley. Let's not forget about our little onion. And I found this gorgeous bouquet of squash flowers. I got it for you. You're welcome. I love you. And I'm gonna add these in at the very last minute because for me, summer is all about the squash flower, and I'm so happy I got these. So this entire bounty, plus so many more options, are all welcome in our favorite Italian vegetable stew, Giambotta. What does Giambotta mean?
It means all vegetables cooked together. It's like a Giambotta. That's it. That's why they call it Giambotta.
When do you make Giambotta?
You make Giambotta. The best time of the year is, well, any time, but the best time is when your stuff comes out of your garden. September, August, September, October.
The first step to our Giambotta is a classic Italian recipe step. We're taking some olive oil, some salt, some pepper, some red pepper, some garlic, and an onion, chopping it up. We're gonna throw it into the pot, let it cook for a little bit. Easy peasy. While our garlic and onions and oil are getting nice and delicious and becoming best friends, we are going to start chopping our vegetables. Here's what we do here. We take our vegetables, we chop them, and we toss them right into the pot immediately, which means we want to start with the vegetables that take the longest to cook so that they can have more time in the pot. What that means for me is that I'm going to start with the potato. Then I'm going to go eggplant. Then I'm doing zucchini. Then I'm going to go green beans. And I'm going to end with the red pepper. Now, do you have any Bimpy jokes about Giambotta? Any funny stories, any jokes?
That is not a funny story about Giambotta. Giambotta, you just cook it and eat it with a nice loaf of Italian bread. That's all. Yeah.
I agree, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
People ask, so what's the difference between this and ratatouille? And I say, ratatouille is French and Giambotta is Italian. So as I go along, if I notice that things need a little bit more olive oil, I just go ahead and add a little drizzle. You could not add too much olive oil to this recipe. I promise you, you're gonna be good. If things start sticking to the pan, that's also okay. That's how we get that brown vegetable, which gives you that delicious flavor. So no worries, this is just the most relaxed summer dish you can make. So we just added our last vegetable to the pot. Everything has been cooking nicely together. Now we get to an essential phase. We're gonna figure out how much of a stew and how much of a soup we wanna make this. I like it to be very much a stew. So I add 2 28-ounce cans of crushed tomatoes, and I add a cup, maybe a little bit more, of broth. You can use chicken broth or vegetable broth. And as I go, and as everything cooks, all of the veg is gonna sweat out lots of liquid. So you may need some tomato paste to bring it back together and thicken it. I would not add the tomato paste at this point, but you can add it towards the end once it's cooked out a little bit. So you really get to sort of choose your own adventure in terms of texture here and play around as you go. This looks delicious. I feel like I have the right amount of thickness. I'm gonna take the cover to my pot, which is somewhere. It's probably, there it is. Okay, got it, thank you. I'm gonna throw this on here. I'm gonna set this over medium for about 20 to 25 minutes. I will check it after that. I will give it maybe a couple stirs while it cooks, just to make sure nothing burns on the bottom. And you really wanna go until your vegetables are fork tender.
And it is the most delicious meal. Very, very refreshing in the summertime. And you could eat it cold or hot. I do.
Our Giambotta has been stewing away for about 20 to 25 minutes. We're gonna do the fork tender check. I'm gonna pull the top off, plop it here. It looks gorgeous. Whoa. We've got a couple bubbles happening. I'm gonna give it a quick fork tender test. Looking good. That's our eggplant. Get a piece of squash. Straight through, no resistance. What's important here is that they're not falling apart. We don't want to create mush. We actually want our vegetables to get credit for being fresh and delicious. So really don't overdo it. Your potatoes will be nice and done. The string beans and the peppers are going to be delicious, but everything should still taste like summer. Speaking of, we're now going to add our tomatoes and we're going to add our fresh herbs. We're going to add these into the pot and really just let them hang for about 3 or 4 minutes and do kind of a quick stewing and wilting. So again, they remain fresh and delicious. So I've got everything nicely stirred in. We're gonna leave the top off because I want the tomatoes to just barely cook. Let this go for about 2 or 3 more minutes. And then we're pretty much done. And we get to serve this up. When I was a kid, Bippy would pretty much serve this almost every Friday night, and my dad in between. So I'm gonna let Bippy tell you his favorite way that he likes to serve his Giambotta, and then I'm gonna show you some of my favorite ways so that you don't get tired of it like I did.
You can serve it over a pasta. You can make yourself like small meatballs and throw it in with meat, you know, either pasta or any kind of meat.
Thanks, Bimpy. I love how you love to serve your Giambotta. But like I said, I have my own special ways and I'm excited to share them with you. Here are some of my favorite ways to make Giambotta feel very different and very special while you serve it every night of the summer. My first way that I love to do it is I made some delicious, creamy, cheesy polenta. I like a soft polenta. So I'm just gonna pour some into the bottom of this bowl. Oh my God, gorgeous. Then I take a nice couple servings of this gorgeous stew, put it on top of the polenta, make sure I get all my favorite vegetables in there, and it just sort of sinks into the polenta and it's just delicious. Now that is just one way that I like to do this. The second way is orzo. So I love orzo pasta. I can't use it enough. I'm gonna take some orzo, I added a little bit of butter and a little bit of Parmesan cheese, and I just kind of mixed it together, got it nice and creamy, and then I'm gonna plate up some more of the Giambotta on top. Now, this is as close to serving this over pasta as I like to get, But by all means, we are talking about Italian food here. So serve it over any pasta you like. It's absolutely delicious. So we've got a pasta option. Now, Bimpy said he likes to serve it over a day-old hunk of Italian bread, a little crispy, crunchy piece. So Bimpy, this is an honor of you. Get that chunk of bread in there. It's a pretty big one. We can handle it. Get that in there. And really, this is all about just the dipping of the bread into the Giambotta. Super delicious. The spirit of Giambotta is that you just don't let anything go to waste. So a piece of day-old bread is really just the final nod to that spirit. Now, I saved the best for last. This is my absolute favorite way to serve Giambotta. I took a loaf of Italian bread, doused some hand-torn chunks in olive oil, salt, pepper. I blasted them in the broiler, got them nice and crunchy, and made some delicious croutons. And then what I do is I put the Giambotta on top, and it sort of starts to soften them a bit, but they still maintain their crunch. It's unreal. So if you want to know my favorite way to do it, it's absolutely this. And let me tell you, I just plated 4 bowls and we still have enough to feed a lot more. So here we go. We have polenta, orzo, a day-old chunk of Italian bread, and some delicious crispy croutons. Now, to finish it all off, obviously, lots of Parmesan or pecorino, which I am going to freshly grate on top of each of these. And that's really the magic. Now, as I'm staring at all of these bowls of Giambotta, I am reminded that, my childhood was spent sort of lamenting by August that I had to eat all of these bowls of Giambotta. But I have to tell you, I could not be more excited to eat these right now. There's just no better way to eat it. I'm sorry. Final answer. It's the best. Thank you so much for having me, Food 52. I'm so excited to share this perfect summer recipe with you. I hope you make it. I hope you make it multiple times. I hope you love it. I hope you never get sick of it. I hope you enjoyed meeting Bimpy. He's the best. He would love to meet you. Let's see. Okay, so where can you find me? danpelosi.com, Grossy Pelosi on Instagram and Pinterest. I hope you cook all my recipes. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you want to see more of me on Food 52, let them know. I'm gonna get out of the camera so they can focus on you, okay?
What are you talking about?
You're more handsome than me.
No,